Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin and we'll work out if this is something to be worried about or if it's just perfectly normal Bitcoin behavior, when to get worried and when that worry should, I suppose, alleviate. So we've been waiting for a pullback on Bitcoin for a while, and I suppose that's what we've got. Now this corresponds to basically the pump in the Dixie right at the moment, which isn't exactly out of the blue. We have been thinking a pump would take place for a while now, because not on the weekly but on the monthly, if we just change this moving average here to the 200, what we'll see is that the 200 exponential moving average is basically coming in around this level. And the last time we hit this 200 exponential was Bitcoin's last all-time high, which was also in December to January. So it's no big surprise that we do get bounces around these levels. Now, I mean, albeit we did have a bit of a significant dump down into these levels, but the candle's not closed. We could still bounce from here. But I should draw your attention to a few other things, which is this cross here, a monthly Ichimoku cloud cross. It's not going to be a good thing at all. It's extremely not good in any way. In fact, if you look at this on every single time frame, it's incredibly bearish across there. We've got death crosses all over the place on every time frame. All indicators basically suggest downwards momentum for this until the foreseeable future. I can't really tell you when it's going to end, but it will continue. It does appear to be continuing. So as far as the Dixie is concerned, yeah, we're bouncing here. I don't think the bulls have got enough strength to really pull it much further than what I would say is about this zone here, around about 91.5. But we might not even get that far. Again, this is a chart in progress. The bounce could take place and it could continue up, but I'm really not feeling much from this Dixie chart with everything that I can see on every term time frame, especially this monthly now with this fresh cross in place as of last month. So it does look to me like the Dixie is going to come down into the 80s and remain probably into the 80s for 2021. We got the Fed last week, I believe, or the week before, more or less confirming that they're going to have 0 to 0.25% interest rates until 2023. So with that kind of fiscal policy, you're not going to get a strong dollar. So I think the dollar is going to continue to go down. So that pump has definitely aided this dump from Bitcoin. Now, if we look at Bitcoin here on the 30-minute chart, what we'll see is a terrible looking chart. But we also see, when we're looking at this, we get quite significant bearish divergence there, which has effectively played out into this dump now. Now the important thing in the charts I always like to look at is the daily ones. They're the ones that give us the bigger moves and the bigger picture. And so at the moment what we have here is what would be basically the first target hit for the dump, okay, which is the 7 simple moving average, and also roughly speaking where that CME gap was. So this is the weekend 1-2 and this was our closure, so basically we filled that gap. That's not the only gap, by the way. There are many gaps below us these days. Looking at here, this is CME futures. We have a giant size gap around this zone. So I don't want to worry you or concern you, but there are many gaps to be filled with Bitcoin, and most of the time those gaps do get filled. Now there is also a gap all the way down at 3,400 or thereabouts. So some people look at these gaps as absolute. This definitely has to happen. They always happen. In my experience, they do seem to always happen, but it doesn't mean that they will continue to always happen. We're in a massive bull market, so they don't necessarily always need to happen, but they generally do always happen. Do I think we're going to come back down to 3,400 though? It would be a pretty silly thing for me to say that we would come down there, but it would also be naive for me to say that we wouldn't, because anything's possible. You saw what happened with COVID and the March situation. So a black swan event could bring us down to that level, and there are reasons for more black swan events. I'm not talking about the pandemic now. I'm talking about other things such as I don't know, off the top of my head, the Tether becoming worthless one day, through some court case, or quantum computing, hacking a 51% attack on Bitcoin. these are the sort of things that could cause a black swan event, something that you can't account for. But because we can't account for them, we don't really talk about them. But there are reasons why Bitcoin could plummet down to those levels again. But as far as the chart is concerned, there's nothing to say that we will. So that out of the way, we've hit our first target and we're finding our first bounce, which is great. A further drop from here would bring us down to the 10 exponential around about 21,800. Now 21,800 is the 10 simple moving average. And where else do we see that figure? It was on the 4 hourly, it must have been. There was a 4 hourly signal around those zones. Yes. It's the green 50 exponential moving average, which I suppose is a more realistic chart to be looking at this for now, because not only have we just basically done a giant red wick all the way down to the center of the to the bottom of the Bollinger Band and essentially broke down beneath it ever so slightly. This has broken the formation now of the 4 hourly chart, and the 4 hourly chart is a relevant chart. It's a chart very much to be traded upon, and at the moment, if we fail this bounce, and again this is just playing out at the moment, and we break down beneath here, this would be our next area to be caught at. And again, that basically coincides with the daily 10 exponential moving average. So there's two reasons why we should bounce around about 21,800 thereabouts. So in all fairness, I'm not too bothered about what Bitcoin's doing at the moment. This is what Bitcoin does. We all know that. And if you're new to Bitcoin, this is what Bitcoin does. It does this kind of thing. This is what it's always done. And this is why we like it. We like to trade it. So we like to cash in on these big moves. Now, most of you are on my channel, I believe, kind of OGs who've been around for a while. So at the moment, most of us, if not all of us, are significantly in profit anyway. And we've been trying all kinds of different things like the bot trading, which has been working out pretty well. But recently, we're getting a little worried about the situation of the altcoins, I believe, on my channel. So let's have a look at what we're looking to expect overall from altcoins. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. This signifies whether or not we will get an alt season, and the alt season is so far, for the last 18 months or so, been running within this channel. Now it is a descending channel, and descending channels often break to the up, and if this does break to the up, it would be pretty significant for altcoins. It would be pretty bad for them, I have to say. It would definitely be pretty bad. Now we are pretty much coming to the top of this this channel. Now it's not a precise target. We could look at the channel itself. We could look at this itchy cloud itself. We could also look at this green 50 exponential. Excuse me. We could also look at the green 50 exponential. So we're talking about targets between 67.5 to maybe even 69.5. If we break above 69.5, which is essentially this green 50 exponential moving average, it would pretty much mean that the dark days are ahead for altcoins. But personally, when I look at altcoin charts at the moment, most of them, or the ones that I'm interested in, do seem to say that yes, I'm primed, I'm ready to go for a move, but don't expect much from me until early January, which that's fine, because we're looking at this here on a monthly chart. So if we do get a rejection from this zone here, then it will bring us into January, and that January should, if it plays out in this way, there's no guarantee that it would. There's a lot of things on this chart, like this MACD cross, for instance, to suggest that actually it's not going to get rejected this time, but it could. I mean, we were bullish here, definitely. This was a bullish situation coming up into this movement here, and then rejection, and then up and down and up. So technically, yeah, we do have our first little green tick on the histogram, and it is at the 0 point. So that would suggest that we could be looking for this to break out of this formation eventually, and maybe even next month break out of it. But it's very early to say. Now we did have this conversion baseline cross on the Ichimoku cloud as well, which is definitely a continuation signal, but this is a continuation signal from this zone here. So that meant that getting involved in Bitcoin at this level would have been beneficial to you, and it would have been because we launched all the way back up to here. But then the continuation signal has it only counts when it makes a cross, whether that's a negative cross or a positive cross, and it's not made a negative cross yet. But this is an extremely lagging indicator, being a monthly. This is going all the way back into 2019. Bitcoin. So yeah, that was a decent signal to be held for Bitcoin dominance, and it continued all the way up here. And if you bought on this cross, even if you bought at these levels or even at the top of the wick, you'd be pretty much where we are at right now. So you'd still pretty much be benefiting from that signal, as far as buying your Bitcoin is concerned. However, we are still positive. This cross has not turned negative, so in all fairness, holding on to it from this level here for Bitcoin dominance is still, it's not been discredited. This is still a positive signal, but again, we are in this channel. We have to trade this channel for what it's worth, and this would suggest that we are at the top of the channel, and maybe at a push we could go to the 50 exponential, as we were rejected from there before. But yeah, it's getting a little bit dicey for altcoins. Now, personally, when it comes to December, a lot of people like to cash out anyway. That's just generally the way it goes. I mean, I don't know how you've been playing your Bitcoin, but I mean, for me, like I've been in this crypto, currency business for actually quite a long time now, since early, really properly going hard at it since the start of 2017. So I'm quite seasoned to this, and I like to take my profits. I took profits on Bitcoin around about 18,500. Put some of that into altcoins, like Ripple and things like this, and made some more. But you have to take profit, and generally a lot of people do take profit around December. They don't want the stresses of all this business going over their head when they're supposed to be enjoying themselves on Christmas. So you will often find on stocks, commodities, and cryptocurrencies some profit taking, and some red candles around December. But as far as our Bitcoin cycle is concerned, and the cryptocurrency market cycle in general, we're on track to be making some decent moves. If you look at all the top cap altcoins as well as Bitcoin, they've all started moving significantly now from their lows. Most of them have done better. The top caps have done better than Bitcoin itself. Some of these small caps have done extremely well, dwarfing the gains that Bitcoin's made. And Bitcoin has clearly made, a nice, a 4x or something now from its lows of this year, or when we first started getting involved, when the cycle began in 2019, was that? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 2019 in the spring is when we started getting back into this. After that long bear market. So, as far as the cycle's concerned, everything is good to go still, and we'll get movements all over the place, and everything will continue as it should do into next year. And like I say, I'm not expecting a great deal from cryptocurrency until January. On my channel, I've been saying I'm buying Algo, Holochain, FET. And those three, and EOS as well. All those four tokens that I've been picking up at these prices. A bit lower, a bit higher, but generally on average around this current level that we are at right now is where I've been picking them up at. Then January, I'm not expecting anything until the start of January for any of those. So I'm fine to just leave those and let my bots do the trading with them as well. I've got a lot of bot trading going on with all of those as well, and they're doing really well. So I mean, I will leave them over Christmas. I've taken obviously some profit last month. Now I've taken some profit this month, and I will leave a fair amount of it on because I believe in this cycle. So I will leave it to go. I don't think there's a great deal to worry about. And like I say, a lot of this move has been instigated by this push up from the Dixie here. But if we go into details with the Dixie, we'll just have a look at it on the 15-minute chart. I mean, the 15-minute chart is all over the place. We'll take this off. We don't need to look at this. The 15-minute chart is all over the place. We have a gap down here. Yeah, the Dixie has a gap, a CME gap. There is a gap down here, which is likely to get filled. My views on Dixie is that it's going down, and it'll be a sad day to be an American, but your currency is being absolutely wrecked. And I thought mine was getting wrecked because of Brexit, but your currency, the dollar, is getting absolutely wrecked. So it's not the best time to be buying into real estate or anything like that, but it's definitely a good day for commodities and for Bitcoin. and will continue to be that way, I'd expect, from at least the next 12 months, which is the 12 months that we're looking forward to in cryptocurrency. That's the final year of the cycle where things really get interesting, things really start to move. This year was always going to be a steadier way, but thanks to the Dixie and American fiscal policy, it's accelerated that movement up, and I think it's only going to continue that way. So as you can see, we are rejecting at this level. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we did come all the way back down from that level. But personally, I think that over this next week we might try to make it our way back into this zone here, around about $91.6. But that's how I see it. So, I mean, like I say, January is the start of the new year, and where a lot of the signals that I've been looking at for altcoins really do start to kick in. So until then, we could, I suppose, buy some blood, or we could just chill out for a bit. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there, but subscribe to my channel, join my Telegram chat, use all the links below. I've got links for everything. I've got links to save you money on your Binance fees, set yourself a new Binance account up. You don't have to verify every Binance account you've got, just need to make it secure for yourself with an email and a Google authentication code, and you'll get 20% off all your trading fees for life on that account. So set a few of them up, do some bot trading on one of them, do some spot trading on one of them, do your futures trading on them. Whatever you want to do, you might as well save yourself some money. So again, there's links all the way below, but join my Telegram and we can all chat about what's going on with cryptocurrency over Christmas. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy.